So 10 out of 10 comes from an idea that we needed to really celebrate the fact that Traces had been in existence for a whopping 10 years, which is no mean feat for any dance company. And we applied for funding to Waterford City and County Council, and they have a funding stream called the Arts Practice Grant, and we were successful in getting the grant. The philosophy behind an integrated setting is that each artist comes to the table with their own ideas, and there's an equality of experience between all of the dancers that are within the rehearsal and in the performance also. So we developed a work over about 3 months period, and I'd been involved with the dance residency at Garter Lane during this time, and I noticed we had 4 incredible dancers in their sort of mid-20s to late 20s who were really keen on working with Traces and would be open to the experience of working in an integrated setting.
I was first off delighted to be asked to be a part because, like I said, any opportunity working with Traces you just grab with both hands, because I don't think I've ever had a bad time working with Traces. It's always just such a worthwhile project.
Yeah, I've watched them grow and really enjoyed seeing every single one of them develop and expand and also connect with people across many disciplines.
I think what we have in common is that, like, we're dancers, do you know? And like, we all, like, every person who's a dancer has like a different style of movement and like a different way that they express themselves.
It's been a really interesting experience actually, because I've only previously worked with other dancers with Down syndrome when I was a teacher, so I didn't get to collaborate in the same way. I didn't get to sort of get to know the students very well. So I've had a brilliant time. We've had great crack. They're all so welcoming to us.
The experience with Traces Dance Ensemble has been magical, it's been creative, it has been done by wonderful dancers put together. It's just been like a real a dancing family dancing together.
never win and never lose. There's nothing much to choose between right and wrong. Nothing lost and nothing gained. Still things ain't quite the same between you and me. I keep a close watch on this heart of mine. I keep a close watch on this heart of mine. I still hear your voice at night when I turn out the light and try to settle down. But there is nothing I can do, 'cause I can't live without you anyway at all. I keep a close watch on this heart of mine. I keep a close watch on this heart of mine. I keep a close watch on this heart of mine. Don't you be so hard on yourself.
I remember when Libby was open and we were dancing tall ships, the tall ships down on the quay that night. Yeah. I was the first person open Traces because I was the first special needs girl her dance class up by
I think you're the Traces veteran, Bhraonain, because you're the Traces veteran because you've been working with Libby for years.
Yeah.
Before I came in.
Okay, well, Traces Dance Ensemble evolved from some creative dance projects that were originally run by Libby Seward. And Libby Seward was a very dynamic, creative lady who was the dance artist in residence in Garter Lane Art Centre in Waterford for a number of years. And she channeled the work of Traces and sent that work out there into the wider community and developed several performance projects of such high quality and standard out into the artistic community.
I say there'd be loads there we can say about Traces. Is the choreography, the connection, the relationship, and mostly the biggest thing is the performance.
So since about 2016, I've become involved on the ground with Traces Dance Ensemble as the co-artistic director, and I've had the pleasure of continuing the legacy that Libby would have started.
Okay, so we have been performing for a lovely 10 years. we started off in the Helix and we went on to go places like Dunleary, we went to Burr. We have done shows here in Waterford, one Sparkle. We went on to explore different occasions, and we just enjoy every moment. As well as the youth dance celebration is just magical.
But the thing that impressed me most was the kind of the professional work ethic of Traces, and I think that's what Libby would have instilled in them over the years, and people have commented upon that. And to be honest, it's such a pleasure when you come into that and people know how to stand in a light and they know how to enter and exit a stage, and this incredible level of commitment and dedication that you get from Traces members.
They all obviously would have all started having very little, if not none or no performance experience at all, so some of them might not have ever set foot on stage. So what I've seen is them going from strength to strength and gaining a lot of confidence around their own identity as people in this world, as movers, as dancers. And they're extremely professional now. So when we come into the studio to start rehearsing, they will actually come into the studio, take off their shoes, get into the space, start warming themselves up, and they know how to run a rehearsal so that even if we weren't there, that doesn't happen, but if we weren't, they would be able to run the rehearsal for themselves. They know what needs to be done.
Yeah, and we're more grown up about the dance group and how the maturity goes with the rules of the dance group.
You can see it in them. You can see it in the Traces, in the dancers' faces. You can see it in the way, in their excitement. And if they're in a new space or they know they've got a performance coming up, you can tell that they are enjoying every minute of this process and they take it very seriously. That's what I always notice. They know their professionalism is really, really strong, and I really admire that in the way that they work.
Well, I love about dancing. It's like you're letting your emotions go, and you go with the dance with your own emotion and with your imagination. You come up with your own choreography and bring it to the dance group.
Black turns beat me bright, turning on the light. Today is gonna be the day you hear somebody say, we need you wide awake.
the piece, and the rehearsal process was amazing, really amazing. Getting to spend days with the guys, bringing it to the theatre, all the excitement and just the buzz that went around that. It was an amazing project. And then to perform with them on stage, with them, to be part of their show, it was a privilege.
This project in particular is very special because I have had the opportunity to also work with my own peers. So Rachel, David and Trish have been involved, and it's been a real pleasure for me to dance with them and also to see the way that Traces respond to having these new people and other professionals in the group. And actually, Traces are at such a high level now that they really give us a run for our money, you know, and I just find them very inspiring. So I think it's a two-way street. It's definitely a very much an integrated project.
And just the relationships and the bonding that took place between our dancers from the residency and Traces dance members. And indeed, Traces dance members just rose to the occasion.
From the start of a project, there's always this feeling of we're a unit, we're tight, we don't have to work hard on that because they're so open. And yeah, they respond really, really quickly to new people, and that's what I've noticed when I work with Traces, that I don't always notice in every other professional setting.
And they've just been so welcoming to me coming in and like taking part, and they've been showing me the ropes and how things work. There's a really good ethos in the group. They're quite supportive of each other. It's brilliant.
Well, about the performance I really enjoyed the most is that seeing the connection of Traces and the relationship of Traces on stage.
I actually think working with Traces makes you even more engaged than you would be, say, with a professional company where everybody is on one level, or you know, a different professional company or another setting. I find sometimes people can go in and be quite insular at times until the director or somebody has asked them to connect with one another. Whereas with Traces, from the get-go, you're connected, and they bring that out in us as professionals.
I feel like I'm always like working, I'm never like relishing in the moment, whereas they like relish in the moment, you know? And I'm like, oh my God, I should do that because that's really fun.
Yeah, I think there is definitely a difference between working with a typical professional dance company and then working with Traces. One of the things I noticed is that with Traces, there's a very obvious joy for dance that can sometimes get sucked out of it when you make it your career. So each day is just a pleasure working with them. They're all happy to be there, and they're there by choice, which is really important. They're not there for a competitive need or a need to make money or something like that. They're there because it's a pleasure to dance. So that brings that out in me as well. That's something that I used to have more when I was younger. So it's really good to be around them and be reminded of that, definitely.
Working with Traces, you know, you're one big family, you're one big team, but ultimately you are there to guide, support and bring out, you know, what's there in the lads, what's to bring out the best.
I really like to dance with everyone because I started dancing forever. Because I love dancing. I want to get people really fun.
Traces, like, they really like enjoy moving, and like when they're like in the spotlight, like they're really like it's like in a film, you know, they're really like, this is my moment, I'm doing a solo, I'm living my fantasy.
You just open your imagination and just let go. I think about like trees or birds or flying in the sky. Like you're dancing, when you dance, just be what you want to be.
In
You know, even if you come into a session and, you know, you've been worrying about things or something has really got you down, it doesn't, you know, you end up leaving the sessions absolutely on cloud nine because you just get in there, you forget about it all.
Yeah, I think that each day can be quite different with the group because it's a big group, so the energy can change. But in general, I've noticed that like their focus coming towards a show has been really impressive, really professional, and they're taking it really seriously, which is lovely to see. And
you can see it in the traces, in the dancers' faces. You can see it in the way, in their excitement, and if they're in a new space or they're in, they know they've got a performance coming up, you can tell that they are enjoying every minute of this process and they take it very seriously. That's what I always notice. They know their professionalism is really, really strong, and I really admire that in the way that they work.
I haven't seen some of the dancers grow from being children and young teens into adults. You know, it was really, felt so honoured to be asked and kind of come full circle to 10 years of such a wonderful company.
But the experience was just really profound in terms of the blending, the sharing.
And having Trish and Rachel and David as new people to kind of play with and bounce off has been really, really good for them.
We helped the juniors.
We helped the juniors.
We've been mentoring this year to help the juniors to get more experience in Traces.
Yeah.
Collaborating with different people, you know, like I feel like, and this also goes for like Trish and Jess and Rachel, like just learning from like how they move.
It's really nice to bring other people into the group, the likes of Eva DePere, Sean Upton, into the dance group. It really lifts the spirit of Traces.
I'm just like really glad I got to like do this project because it's just been so nice, and like Dee has been so great facilitating the whole experience.
Teaching them the experience of dancing and as well as the experience of Traces put together. And that's what brings the juniors to develop their own choreography into Traces. It was the choreography which really got the group together, and watching Rachel and Dave inspired us to keep on dancing. Every project is a good project for Traces.